The short block assembly is used to fix an engine that has had a major failure, such as a seized piston, broken connecting rod, or lack of compression. The short block assembly consists of the cylinder and crankcase, the piston and connecting rod, the crankshaft, the flywheel, a spark plug, and the ignition module. Replacing the short block assembly is a repair that you can do yourself, and I'm going to show you how. Hi, I'm Mark Socha. Do-it-yourself repairs like these are easier than you might think. From lawn machines to cordless drills, kitchen mixers, outdoor grills, our how-to videos walk you through each repair from start to finish. So doing it yourself means never having to do it alone. Let's get started. I'll begin by removing the rear housing from the engine. The same screws that secure the rear housing also secure the rear crankcase cover. I'll go ahead and remove it as well. Now I'll remove the clutch housing and the upper shaft. Next I'll remove the clutch drum. Next, I'll remove the clutch. If I attempt to just rotate the clutch, the problem is the crankshaft also rotates, so I can't remove it. What I'll need to do first is bind up the cylinder so that the crankshaft can't rotate. I'll begin locking the crankshaft by removing the spark plug. Once the spark plug is removed, I'll take a length of starter rope and insert it through the spark plug hole on top of the piston. I'll leave enough of the rope sticking out so I can easily remove it later. Now I can put a wrench on the clutch. As I rotate the clutch, the piston will move up in the cylinder until it contacts the starter rope. The starter rope will bind it, locking the crankshaft. I'll remove the clutch and the washer. Now I can remove the starter housing. Now I can remove the muffler. Now I'll remove the ignition coil. Now I'm going to remove the air filter base, the air filter, and the carburetor. Now remove the isolator. Now I can begin installing the new short block assembly. First, I'll reinstall the carburetor isolator. Now reinstall the carburetor. I'll replace the air filter and close the air filter door. Now I'll replace the muffler. I'll line the muffler gasket and secure the muffler at the screws. The closed portion of the heat shield should be facing up towards the spark plug. I'll finish tightening the bolts with a wrench. Now I'll install the new ignition module that came with the short block kit. The gap between the ignition module and the magnets on the flywheel needs to be a specific size. In this case, it should be 14 thousandths of an inch. I'll use this spark plug gapping tool to set the gap. If you don't have one of these, a thick business card will also work. I place the gapping tool over the magnets, and then I'll go ahead and stick the ignition module to the magnets. The tool creates the space between the module and the flywheel. I'll install the first screw. At this point, I'm leaving the screws loose. As I install the second screw, I need to make sure that I install the grounding tab as well. This also came with the kit. Now I'll make sure that the ignition module is tight against the gapping tool, and I'll tighten up the screws. With the screws tight, I can remove the gapping tool, and I'll reinstall the wires. The black wire goes to the grounding tab, and the red wire to the tab on the ignition module. And now I'll reinstall the starter housing. I'll pull the starter rope to make sure that the starter dogs have aligned with the pawls. and I'll resecure the fuel tank. The new short block assembly comes with a new spark plug. I'll remove the spark plug so that once again I can bind the cylinder with a piece of starter rope. Now we're ready to reinstall the clutch. They install tape around the clutch threads at the factory so the threads don't get damaged and so the spacer tube isn't lost. I'll go ahead and remove that tape. I'll place the large washer over the crankshaft and then thread the clutch into place. And I'll tighten the clutch with a wrench. Now I can remove the rope and reinstall the spark plug. Next, I'll reinstall the clutch drum. I'll place the thin spacer washer over the shaft, followed by the clutch drum. And I secure it with the captive screw. Now I'll reinstall the clutch housing and the upper shaft. Now I'll reinstall the rear crankcase cap. I need to align one of these two holes on the Easy Start system with the end of the crankshaft. If it's aligned, there should be very little movement in the Easy Start shaft when I try to rotate it. Then I align the screw holes and I can reinstall the rear housing. And now you know how to install a new short block assembly in your small engine. Be sure to check back often for new videos and expert advice. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment.